Hey, what is up, guys? This is Diligence here, and today we're going to talk a little bit about Bitcoin. It seems like a lot of people are interested in our crypto content, opinions, and explaining why this happens, why this did not happen. And let me show you something on Bitcoin. So a lot of you guys, oh my God, Bitcoins are having its run, guys. It's $44,000 now. So basically, what you have to think about is how much does Elon hold his Bitcoin. So Elon's Bitcoin's average price is 38K, and Cassie's Bitcoin's around that mark too. So that puts the lower bound, the lower bound average price for the institutions, including the big boys like our Smoky Elon and Kathy. It's probably spelling it as a C around this point. But I would imagine they probably average down during the 30K period of time around. Let me show you guys. So when drop under 30K, a lot of people actually bought in here. And if you guys if you guys have been following a lot of the Bitcoin news, you know that grayscale lockup is around this time, right? Around July 18th is a grayscale lockup. And for those of you who don't know what grayscale lockup is, grayscale lockup is literally sort of like a function as a ETF or like an institutional wallet for institutional investors to really invest in Bitcoin, because Bitcoin in a legal standpoint is not really a security per se. So you cannot really put Bitcoin into a basket ETF. This is why Cassie do not directly hold Bitcoin, but Cassie holds Bitcoin through grayscale, the grayscale fund, or what you call that. And a lot of you are going to be like, why wouldn't the SEC categorize Bitcoin as a security? Because if SEC actually categorized Bitcoin as a security, then there's a lot of legislative issues. There are a lot of things that will contradict with Bitcoin's core value in terms of not being a part of the governmental system, being a public-private chain, being a private chain instead of a public chain, or more like a public-private chain. So then, a lot of transactions can remain anonymous, and a lot of these transactions are not under the governmental scrutiny. But as Biden administration keeps tightening the stricter Bitcoin trading rules, Bitcoin taxes and everything, the future of Bitcoin is a little bit unstable as of right now. And a lot of people are speculating that this from right now, August 7th, 2021, all the way to about September 26th is the runway for the last sort of bullish run for Bitcoin, starting up with the grayscale lockup. So you have the grayscale lockup around here, and then what happens after grayscale lockup is a lot of people panic sell around this mark, which we see is 29,839, right? But the interesting about this is like an institutional play to sort of short squeeze the entire Bitcoin market. So when people are selling, when people are shorting massively here, they're looking to short it all the way until 25K. But one of the things that they neglected or didn't realize is how Bitcoin structured its price is cost plus transaction cost. So any fluctuation of cost, which is inflationary, right, would increase the price of Bitcoin, and any reduction of cost, which is impossible because it costs way too much energy right now to farm more and more Bitcoin in the future, and the supply has been tightened up, unless in 4 years there's going to be a supply talk happening. Which it will, but we're really, really far away from that point at this point. And we're talking about a transaction. Transaction cost isn't that important right now as for Bitcoin, the asset, okay, the crypto asset Bitcoin, because it haven't changed its code base or haven't changed its white paper or haven't really updated how the supply and demand of Bitcoin works and how the market making process of Bitcoin trading works. Therefore, Bitcoin's transactional play is all based on auction. It's an auction-based economy, which means it's totally free market. It's a 100% free market asset that gives it a huge amount of volatility, therefore makes option chains super money worth. Right? It gives you a lot of money if you trade Bitcoin options because you have a lot of volatility. But the fact that it's a asset that's so expensive per unit, even though you can trade blocks that are smaller unit than just one Bitcoin, but in order to really capitalize on this, you really need to trade out huge blocks of this thing. Therefore, you have and due to the transaction sort of complexity in this auction system. Because if any of you were in the auction business before in the real life, you will know that one of the pain in an auction is you have so many people raise their hands, so it will jack up the price exponentially. Therefore, you have an intrinsic premium amount that's bubble, right? You always have a premium amount like a bubble. Therefore, when you see an increase in price of Bitcoins, you will see a 5%, 20%, even more increase due to the implied or the intrinsic volatility within this methodology of transaction. So one of the reasons to explain why Bitcoin is always trading higher after a major grayscale lockup is because whenever a grayscale lockup happens, you have people will start shorting the stock because your liquidities are tight. When people's liquidities are tight, a lot of people will panic sell. You see this consistency in this ladder down movement, and this movement is where short comes in very, very severely. And as big institutional investors, your average is actually higher than that. So what you will do is you will tell the public, your average is over here, right? You will tell the public, oh guys, like this thing's gonna explode. I would even they even utilize a lot of marketing plans and everything, even on Robinhood, on Binance, on Gemini. What they do is if you buy one Dogecoin or you buy any cryptocurrency, they even give you money, right? They even give you money. On the surface, looks pretty good, but if you look deeper, why would they give you money to spend money? There's only one reason. There has to be one reason, one of those two reasons. One is they desperately need your volume to be a part of the system, which is partially true. The second one is they're looking for higher backholders for this asset, which I think will be the conspiracy behind this. But as you can see right now, everything is skyrocketing. So no matter what I say, you guys wouldn't believe me anyways, right? And then after the grayscale lockup, what you will see is you will see a short squeeze, which happened. Because think about it, right? You have so much contract locked up at 28K, like as 28K put. You have 30K puts. There's just way too much stuff like just locked up here. Because when you see the Bitcoin price go under 29K, the fluctuation stopped. Why? Because you're literally trading at about less than 2.8x of cost of mining a Bitcoin. And the mining economy in Bitcoin is still huge. Therefore, there's no way that if you're the market maker of Bitcoin, what I mean by market maker is whoever holds the most Bitcoin, they're like the Bitcoin merchant. Like, Elon would consider himself a part-time Bitcoin merchant, and Mark Cuban is a Dogecoin merchant, and those merchants wouldn't make money by then. So in order for all of these institutions to make money, there has to endure a short squeeze. This is where you see huge amount of money coming in around this point, and then you drive up the entire Bitcoin price, and this is where a bunch of people covered, right? And then now when a lot of people cover, you will see like on a scale, on a very technical scale, you see the growth actually slow down. You see this? The growth actually slow down. Even though you have a bigger upside, but the fact that if you don't have a lot of other PR coming in the next few weeks, all the way extending to September 26th, you will see this flatten out around here. You see? 45K is where things gets interesting. Because if, no matter what you believe in, the Fibonacci sequence or like the golden scale or whatever indexes you're trading at, if you look at the 1-year indexes, around the 45K mark, you will see, sorry, I don't really have, because I have my own Bitcoin sort of like a indicator or like a Python program. But the thing is, it's really hard to visualize. It just tells you about, what are some good price point or whatever. I might consider posting that on Patreon. But because it's not really protected intellectual property, so I'm afraid that if I send it out, some people might like spread it around and everything. I'm trying to keep it proprietary and keep it private. So you see, this is a support line. You see, this is the support line where dictates what's going to happen. And then a lot of people are saying all of these are COVID FOMOs, which include me, okay? And I have some reason for that too. If you guys want to know the reason, comment down below. I think this video is going to get a little bit longer. I think I'm not going to get into Ethereum in this video. I'm just going to get into Bitcoin in terms of like, you know, not really predicting the future, but talk you guys through what is really going on. And if you look at the previous week's like movement of Bitcoin, as I indicated on August 1st or July 30th, there's a huge option exploration days around here. The 40K mark is very important. So what will you do if you're a hedge fund? You will just squash retails out, right? So what you will do is, all right, so if I'm a big hedge fund, I bought call at 40K around July 30th. Well, and then I will capitalize on that, made a huge amount of profit over that because, you know, Bitcoins were trading at 30K consistently beforehand. And if you look at the August 1st exploration day, a lot of people will just come in and squash out and start buying puts and everything. And then you artificially drag it down and then make a huge amount, make millions and millions and millions of call money into exploration and make them just expire worthless around this point, right? And retail lost money. What happened to retail lost money? Oh my god, I see a turning point. Oh my god, technical analysis. It drops under the 41,000 support line. It's going to keep dropping. Oh my god, it's going to keep dropping. Oh my god, it's keep dropping. Oh my god, it's going to keep dropping. But what you fail to see is during this period of time, you have the oil. The oil price is actually fluctuating to a downward trend, which I think it's going to pull up again. But anyways, this is where the OPEC started to like saying, you know, we're worried about the new COVID fear and everything. And then this is like reconsolidation down, right, to 38K. Because, you know, when OPEC actually increased the supply and every United States citizen is thinking, oh my God, it's going to be another lockdown. And then the perceived demand will just go down and you will have a higher supply. That means what's going to happen? It's just the price will just, you know, because you oversupply, so the price will go down, right? But during this transition period of time, that also means electricity price goes down. When electricity price goes down, there's more stabilization of cost, what we call is cost generation in the BTC mining market. Then what will happen is a lot of the miners will profit more through this movement. So by the end of August 4th, the miners already generated enough momentum or enough reserve of Bitcoin that they can start selling at a premium more. So when they start to, and if you're a miner, when you start to do that, the general market will sort of hear the whisper by tracking down all the transactions within Bitcoin, big Bitcoin wallets. Like, oh, these guys are adding up positions. So what happens when these guys are adding positions? The price shoot up. And you have an auction. You literally have an auction system, which means when the price goes higher, it will go even higher. It will have an exponential growing rate. Why? Because people will just start outbidding to be a part of the chain that you're mining right now. Does that make sense? If you have any questions, leave a comment below. So then when we hit a temporary momentum height, people are like, oh my God, this is where, you know, a lot of people are selling, or this is where I'm not really sure it's going to go over 40,000. I'm not really sure, you know, if it's ever going to go back to 50,000, therefore I start selling. And then the entire psychological plays again and drop down again. But the fact that if you're a miner, you sell it here and you bought back here, and then within one day, you probably already generated another sort of like a mining protocol, or you get more coins that way. Therefore, at here, the amount of inventory didn't change. But when you reach this point, when the press have its delayed effects already manifested, you have more momentum coming in, especially, you know, when Elon and you know, Jack Dorsey, you know, Cassie was keep talking about this on the 4th, on the 5th, on the 3rd, and you just drive it all up. This is all PR. This is PR effect, okay? The true value of Bitcoin never changed. The actual intrinsic true value of Bitcoin is the same as the true value of Bitcoin around June 30th on 2020, okay? And also, like, it's the same as July 17th before the grayscale lockup. So all of these increase or all of these fluctuation, or if you know, because I'm reviewing linear algebra for my master's, because I'm trying to challenge the course. I don't need to take it, because honestly, I took linear algebra when I was in high school, dude. Like, I don't need that. I can spend more time to really explore the more logical system in math instead of just taking the old class over and over again. But anyways, all of these we can call oscillation, where oscillation is literally, it's like a sine cosine graph all the way around the major support line. You will see this. You will see this in the next few months, all the way extending to September 26th. And because of the new Ethereum protocol coming out and the new Ethereum sort of EIP, I think 5510, there are 4 major things coming out, and the major press is only covering 2. I will cover those 2 in the next few days, but I always cover the other 2, which I think is also important, but most people don't have the coding or don't have the blockchain background to really explain it in very simple words. I will explain it. I will explain it simply, and I'll also explain it as if we're just trading it as stocks. And this is just, if you guys are trying to add up your position on Bitcoin or Ethereum, you're literally playing a very risky speculative play right now. I think this is it for this video. If you like these kind of contents, please smash that like button and subscribe to our channel. And our channel is diversifying because we realize that you should always look further beyond, right? Go beyond, yeah? All right, see you guys on the upside. Hopefully you guys have a great weekend. Ethereum video is going to come out very, very soon, and there are so many technical things you have to explain, so I'm going to dumb it down and I'm going to make it super, super simple, as if I'm explaining a stock to you guys. Literally, what is really happening on the Bitcoin exchange is you're not really trading on the value of Bitcoin anymore. You're trading on the value of the entire Bitcoin exchange, its future. It's forward future. You're not trading the asset anymore. You're trading the future of the entire basket of the platform. You want me to explain that? Comment down below. All right, see you guys on the upside.